Yeah, here we are.
We are live on Rumble.
Thank you. Hey guys, good morning. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Stephanie. Glad you guys are here today.
You do anything for your birthday yesterday?
Yes, you know what? I worked all day. You know, I've got 4 jobs. That's all right. But one of those might have paid off, and that was good. Could be a good sale.
Awesome.
Hung out with Megan. She took me to dinner. So that was nice. Had a really nice dinner. I mean, you know, you post 50 Monday night. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
Good morning, Joe. Karen. Oh, I saw Ben over at Wendy's. Ben bought me a drink at Wendy's. That was before dinner. Thank you, Ben.
I think Greg is planning on buying us Wendy's
Lunch.
today for lunch. Yeah.
I forgot about that till you just said that.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that. Thank you, Greg.
Doesn't look like he's on yet.
Good morning. You know, we've talked about doing a news show here, which is on the horizon and will happen at some point in time. If I ever did that, who knows what would happen. I asked Megan, I try to get her to come back all the time. She might be willing to do it. We'll see. Your own show?
Yeah.
Could be that. Know our listeners and viewers love to see her.
It was definitely nice having her back in the studio yesterday.
Heck yes. She looks better than me.
Just adds a different
From your
dynamic
steak.
around here.
Yeah. Yes, it does add a different dynamic. That's for sure. Many different dynamics. My man. Good morning. Glad you guys are with us. Ready to rock and roll this morning. Hey guys, welcome into the show before the show. Glad you're with us on a Tuesday, April 15th. The old proverbial tax day, even though you can get extensions now and people take things later than that. Mike says, good morning, YouTubers. Don't have a good day. Have a great day. I'm trying to remember what that was. Will Ferrell. Don't just have a good day. Have a something. It was from some movie. Will Ferrell. If anybody can let me know what that was. Have a something day. Good morning, Tanya and Jamie. Glad you guys are all with us.
Is that Anchorman?
Have a something day. I can't remember what it was from.
From Free Guy.
It's from what?
Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Free Guy?
Yeah, he was a
What does he say?
it just says don't have a good day, have a great day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Ginny says her allergies out of control in the St. Louis metropolitan area. No doubt about that. I feel it as well. Mitch says Anchorman. I don't know.
Google says it was Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. He plays an NPC in a game.
Ryan Reynolds.
It's a love story about AI, you know.
I love it. Oh, yeah, of course. Hey, guys, thank you for being here. Good morning, everybody. We're getting ready to start here in a few minutes. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let people know what we got going on. We appreciate you guys. Oh, yeah. We got yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for being here today. Wow. Oh, somebody just said, why couldn't we just keep Katy Perry in space? Send her back. She's a firework.
We would have still been able to hear her scream. I don't know if you heard the audio from that, but could you imagine being Gayle King and Jeff Bezos' wife or whoever else went up and having to listen to Katy Perry in this little pod scream at the top of her lungs?
I don't know. Maybe she has a good voice.
Not when she's screaming.
Mandy says lots of plastic was launched into space yesterday. Lauren Sanchez. I love it.
Nine o'clock.
Hey, buddy, I'm sending you one more medical video for later in the day, all right? Or later in the show.
All right.
A number on some COVID stuff that just blew my mind. All right, we can go ahead and get started. Bow, bow. Hey guys, welcome to cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust here, Projo in the house. Glad you were with us. Jeannie says, did she scream the whole time talking about Katy Perry when she went to space? Glad you're with us. News headlines. What's happening in our lives right now in 2025 when it comes to a political standpoint in the United States and what's happening around the world. Glad you're with us here till about 10 o'clock. Of course, you can watch us on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, and Rumble. All right, Projo's here, Vic's here. All right, we get things going on April 15th. Of course, jump into the podcast platform as well. Give us your opinions. And of course, you can lay it out there as much as you want. Of course, opposing views always welcome. Just bring your facts. As always, don't just say things flippantly. We're about facts first. We're about truth first, then fiction, then feelings, all that stuff later down the road. Okay, coming up on the show today, I'm perplexed when it comes to Jews going against Jews and how a Jew could ever vote for a Democrat again. We're going to get into that. And the case study is Harvard University, the most recent group to stand up. I will never understand how a Jewish person could ever vote for a Democrat. And I don't want to hear about any of this bullshit deep-seated. Well, they've always done it. It's the same thing as a union member, how a union member could actually vote Democrat in this day and age. We'll break that down because it blows my freaking mind. I just, Joe Biden's going to try to talk today. Which Biden will it be? First time, actual public remarks. Which Joe Biden? Why is he talking? I have no idea. They're going to roll him out of the closet. Has he come up from the basement? We'll see where that is. Got some updates when it comes to donations for the Republican National Committee. Are they up? Are they down? You're going to want to stick around to hear that. Trump with a very stern message for the little guy. The little Zelensky dude. Did we ever show the dancing Zelensky video? Did we ever?
I don't think we did. I think that was one that we.
Is it deleted?
Yeah, I haven't saved it.
Damn, I was like,
send it again.
I forgot. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but a message for Zelensky. Also, an update from Russia. The special envoy over in Russia with some good news coming there. The typical beatdown that Scott Jennings gives to CNN every night to the panelist. Literally, Democrats have been reduced to keen Teslas and cheering on and rooting for illegal gang members that came into this country. Literally, at men and women's sports. Those are your Democratic ideals. Scott Jennings putting the beat down again. Stephen Miller from Trump's staff also just breaking down so eloquently and beautifully how mainstream media has tried to make this man who allegedly was sent to El Salvador in a wrong manner, who he actually is and what's going on with that standpoint. Sound bites with the El Salvador president. Did you see that yesterday in the Oval Office with Donald Trump? I love Bukele. I think that's how you say it. Or Bukele. Also, Byron Donalds, who is going to be running for Florida governor against Ron DeSantis if he wants to run again, taking the very popular route of trying to get rid of state income tax in Florida. And Pam Bondi saying, yeah, we're going after you guys if you're still trying to key the Teslas. It's not the news as much as it was, but it's still a big story. So we will do that from the chat line. We love them. We try to get to your comments all the time. Paul says, follow the money, Vic. Many people compromise their honor and integrity over receiving loads of money. But even to sell out their own Jewish people, the Jewish community, the Jewish culture, in my humble opinion, has been one of the tightest that I've ever seen. But when it comes to the money, when it comes to the anti-Semitism, It blows my freaking mind. My best friend, Ben, he's a Jewish man. He voted for Donald Trump. Doesn't mean he likes Donald Trump. He just felt he was the best. But we talk about this, and it blows my freaking mind. Paul says CNN embarrassing themselves once again with silly questions, because if you don't have policy on your side and you're already losing and you're looking up at the Republicans and the conservatives like this, like, my God, they're flying like the flag in the air, like the eagle of this country. And we're just, we're pine scum sitting down here. You're going to have to do something. They just throw shit against the wall to see what sticks. And of course, everything that they throw stinks because they don't have any policy. Nothing's there. Good morning, Paul. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let people know what we got going on. That's what we got going on this morning. Okay. I'm trying to get into this right now off the bat because I am perplexed, extremely perplexed with Jews who vote Democrat and Jewish leaders who continue to go against their own people to hold their own jobs. I have never seen anything like this. It is clear, crystal clear, that Democrats do not support Jews. They don't. They may say it, but you judge a person by their actions, not by their words. And all we have seen are Democrats who are voting for laws and promoting anti-Semitism on college campuses and other places, refusing. And by the way, DEI in itself is anti-Semitic. It really is. And then allowing protest, pro-Palestinian protest with college kids, and we saw what they've been doing to Jewish kids for over a year now, to keep masks on their face, to have illegal protesting. There's a difference between legal and illegal protesting, and refusing to stop this and refusing to put more protections in place to stop anti-Semitism on campus. Case in point, University of Harvard. Columbia caved to Donald Trump and they got their money. They were smart. Harvard, and by the way, the Ivy League is nothing what it used to be. Absolutely nothing. My son and I spoke about this. He was being recruited very heavily by Ivy League schools for football. And we didn't even go back to any of them. We did not. They all want to talk to him. And he's like, no. And he doesn't want to go to an Ivy League school. Now he's going to have opportunities. He's already been offered to much larger schools when it comes to competition level. But we would never even consider the Ivy League because of the crap. The Ivy League is not what it used to be. It's not. Are there great people there? Are there super intelligent people? Yes. But when you have presidents at Harvard who continue to do this crap, and what I mean by crap is abide by the administration's rules for government grant free money funding. Harvard is now telling Trump, we're not going to implement more protections for anti-Semitism. We're not going to stop protest from going on, even though they refuse to say they're illegal protest. And we are not going to stop DEI practices. Yeah, I get it from the chat line. Harvard has so much money in reserve, they feel they can weather the storm of Trump's next 4 years. Maybe. But call Harvard what they are. Harvard is an anti-Semitic university because they don't want to put these practices in place. They don't. Now, they can use, well, we don't like Donald Trump. He's not going to tell us what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. Okay, whatever. The problem is this, though. The president of Harvard, Alan Garber, is a Jew. And I'm like, what the truck? The president of Harvard is a Jew refusing to help Jewish students. From the chat line, screw them, Vic. No funds for you. Okay, you want to try to do all this stuff. You want to go in and think, okay, we're the Billy Badass. We're Harvard. We're going to do whatever we want to do, and that's it. They only say it when it's convenient or gives them political advantage. Yeah, no, I see it. And I've seen these things happen over and over and over again. Jews implementing policy that does not help Jews over and over and over and over and over again. Greg with an interesting comment. Isn't Harvard's motto Veritas, truth? Yeah. Daniel says, let them fail. I mean, it really makes our government has divided the Jews also. It's interesting. No, I brought it up with Ben and I was asking him, I'm like, Ben, I don't get it. What the hell, man? Why won't Jews stand up for Jews and be united when it comes to protecting them? Oh, no, because we're liberal. How a Jew could ever vote Democrat is beyond me. How can you look in the mirror as a Jew and vote Democrat when you see what happened to your people in the United States over the last year and a half? When you see what's happened since October 7th, when you see the Palestinian marches all over this country, how could you vote for a Democrat? Blows my freaking mind. We didn't go looking for this story. Hey, let's go do this. This is what was a big story this morning as Harvard is trying to go after Donald Trump. Why not protecting themselves in the first place? Glenn says, why are we giving Harvard billions? Yeah, government funding. It's their grants. Stop it. If Harvard's so good, stop it. Stop it. If you're so rich, stop it. That's what I don't get. I don't get it. And specifics on the story, it's not just $2.2 billion that the Trump administration is now freezing. It's also $60 million in contracts. Okay, Harvard's endowment is massive. Fine, maybe they can overcome it. But it is interesting because all the government asked Harvard to do was institute merit-based admissions for hiring policies as well as to conduct an audit of the student body, faculty, and leadership on their views about diversity. Because if you didn't realize this or not, Harvard, yes, they can allow whoever they want into their university. But why are you bringing in so many people who are from out of country and not giving those first opportunities to Americans? And on top of it all, still taking billions and billions of dollars from the government. Okay, fine. Go put into your school whoever you want, but you're not going to get billions of dollars. If you're getting billions of dollars from the government, then you need to abide by the rules they put in place. It's very simple. But the demands from the Trump administration also include a call for a ban on face masks. Is it that big of a deal to ban face masks? Why would somebody want to cover their face in the first place if they're protesting illegally? Is it because they don't want people to know that they're committing a crime? And guess what? That is all about the pro-Palestinian protesters on their campus. The Trump administration also wanted to pressure the university to stop recognizing or funding any student group or club that endorses or promotes criminal activity, illegal violence, or illegal harassment, which has happened to the Jewish kids over the past year. Why is that such a big deal for Harvard? They want to continue to do that. Harvard president, Jew Alan Garber, I said Jew, who refuses to protect Jews on campus, send a letter. And he said that the demands violate the university's First Amendment rights, exceed the statutory limits of the government's authority, which prohibit discrimination against students based on their race, color, or national origin. Nice try. He says, regardless of which party is in power, you can't dictate what a private university can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue. He adds that the university has taken extensive reforms to address anti-Semitism. When you talk to the Jewish students on campus, they disagree. This is a Jew with this bullshit, hurting Jews. And it's only against Donald Trump. Once again, it's very, very interesting that this is happening. Fine, you want to be a private university? Then don't take the money. You're going to take any money from the government. Then there shouldn't be any issue. Go do your thing every year. I'm sure all your donors will give you plenty of money since you're there. Harvard's just one of several Ivy League schools that the Trump administration has been looking at in regards to pausing their federal funding. Penn, Brown, and Princeton have been forced to compliance with its agenda. Harvard's demand letter is similar to the one that prompted changes at Columbia. Columbia, with the threat of losing billions of dollars of government funding, decided to follow government rules. Makes pretty damn good sense to me, doesn't it? Makes sense to me. I just feel bad for the Jewish kids that don't have a president that's protecting them. And why more Jews aren't standing up, I have absolutely no idea why. Watch all that money go. Harvard lost a lawsuit for discriminating against Asians. Yes, I did see that too. Thank you, Glenn. They've discriminated heavily against Asians. And it's all about pro-Palestinian movements. It makes no sense to me what is happening over there. Daniel says, then we have the anti-Semites that we don't know where they are politically. They're just haters. And why would any Jew want to go there then? It's simple, because it's got the name Harvard, Institution of Higher Learning. Robert brings this up. Excuse me. The Jews or Khazars are Ashkenazi or Orthodox or faith-based who call themselves Jews. It gets confusing. It really does. And I know you've brought this up before. And there are Jews who I know who says the Ashkenazi don't even exist. It's very, very interesting. Brenda says, most of my Jewish friends are Democrats. Yeah, and it makes no sense. Why would a Jew vote Democrat when all Democrats do publicly is support pro-Palestinians? It makes no sense to me. And it needs to be called out. And we're not afraid to talk about it here in a very educated way, a fair way, to try to get all sides of the story in. Where the hell are the Jews when it comes to sticking up for the other Jews? I know Jews, younger Jewish kids, and I think they're just so damn confused, who are against the pro-Palestinian movements, but yet they hate Trump. Seriously, makes no sense. It's like, what is going on in their brain right now? Oh, we hate Trump. He doesn't care for us. Who's trying to protect you on your campuses? It's Donald Trump. It's none of these Democrats. Where are the Democrats? It's not AOC. It's not Jasmine Crockett. It's not Bernie Sanders. Where are the Jews sticking up for or where are the politicians, the Democrat politicians sticking up for Jews? They're nowhere to be found.
The hate for Trump is just so great. That it trumps religion.
I guess so. Good point, Projo. It's the voice of Projo. Columbia, Berkeley, Harvard, they're the worst when it comes to these things. From the chat line, it's not the Ashkans you've got to worry about. Okay, talking about the different sects of Jews. It just frustrates me because one of the most kind men that I have met, and other men that I know who have been so kind to me, are Jews. And then I just see Jews, and it burns me when I see Democrats treat Jews this way. And then you got the president of the university, a Jewish man, refusing to stick up for Jews. And it's all against Trump. It's all about hatred for Trump. How this man has a job, I have no idea. And maybe people from Harvard aren't that intelligent. Maybe the brain gets scrambled when it comes to hatred and when it comes to being racist, because all I see coming out of Harvard right now is racism from their that's what I see when you refuse to stick up for Jews on campus. That's what I don't get. They are now burning Jewish houses. I don't know where that's happening. We saw another anti-Semite try to climb governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro's fence, and try to hurt him in his home. Robert adds, Revelations 2, verse 9, quote, I know your works, tribulation, and poverty, but you are rich. And I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. That coming from scripture. I'm not sure which Bible you're reading that from, but there you go. Not anymore, they aren't. Coming from Tanya. So we'll see where this goes. In the end, doesn't the Trump administration usually win? Doesn't $2.9 billion and $60 million of contracts, doesn't that sound like a lot adding up over time that Harvard would lose? Something tells me this weak little man, this coward of a man who won't even stick up for Jewish students, Garber, a Jew himself, will fade. They'll try to do something behind the scenes. It'll be done on a Friday news dump day. And they'll do what they need to do, just like the Maine governor. I won't let you win in my... Really? Okay, well, let's pull the funding. Oh, okay. We'll get back in line. I have a feeling that that's going to happen. But we're starting to see what's happening, and it's been going on. And now the Ivy League's getting called out, as many colleges should. You take money from the government, you take free money, you abide by the laws and the rules that are put in place. And by the way, laws that are protecting Jewish students, protecting them. So anyway, I couldn't. And by the way, post tariffs and post Donald Trump, even according to the most biased polling, has a favorability rating of almost 55% right now. Okay. America is backing Donald Trump, despite some of these little groups that like to get loud and chaotic and crazy and key up your Tesla and everything else. America is behind Donald Trump. And we say thank you for the work that you and your administration are doing. It won't stop. Once again, just to stop DEI. That's it. To stop DEI. That's it. That's all they were trying to do, and to make things fair for these kids. Oh, brother. One final thing. You have some lawsuits going against the Trump administration now because of him pulling funding. Don't think for a second Harvard doesn't want that money. They want that money. Everybody wants that money. But at least know that you have a president who's not afraid to stand up and go work for people and protect students, which is what he's trying to do. So you want to go to Harvard? Go to Harvard. That's fine. I feel bad for the people who are at Harvard and trying to do the good things, because there are some amazing people at Harvard University, just not their president and a lot of the staff, who allow these pro-Palestinian illegal protests to take place and allow people who hate the Jewish students there free access at them. It just needs to stop. We try to protect the Jewish students as best as we can on the show, and that's why we bring what we do. Danielle says Trump will win. Of course he'll win. He never starts a situation that he won't win. Kind of like, don't ask a question if you're in a situation where you need answers that you don't already know the answer to. Trump knows he's going to win, and he's going to help people in the process. It's not just about winning an argument or a battle. It's about helping people in the process, something Democrats are not doing. Democrats are refusing to help Jews, and we love the Jews here, and we're going to continue to love the Jews and call out those who refuse to help them. Okay, moving on. As good as things are with approval ratings for Donald Trump, Michael Whatley was on Fox News this morning. Guess what? He is the Republican National Committee chair. He says donations are at a record high, all-time high for the Republican Party. Trump's approval rating at an all-time high. His administration's approval rating at an all-time high. This is what's happening in America. Things are changing fast. Are you tired of winning yet? Are you tired? No. Keep it coming. Day after day, week after week, month after month, we are winning. And it started with his inauguration, and it has just continued to get better and better and better. And we get another example today of how good we have it when it comes to Donald Trump. As for whatever reason, Joe Biden's speaking today. Does anybody care if Joe Biden's speaking today?
I mean, should have done it more during his presidency.
Yeah, well, here's what, exactly. They're going to roll out Joe Biden. And what's interesting, out of all things, he's going to come speak about Social Security. That's right. He's going to come out. Yeah, he's a bad man. Come on, man. He says Donald Trump's agenda is threatening the health of Social Security, which is, number one, a flat out lie. Number two, they're using Joe. This is how messed up the Democrats are right now. They're blowing the dust off of him, rolling him out. God knows what he smells like. And they're going to have him talk about Social Security.
The Democrats truly don't have anybody.
They don't.
Yeah, they truly don't.
They didn't want him even being a part of Kamala Harris's campaign. Remember? They knocked him. Now they're bringing him back out again. I bring this up as it's a funny thing. Well, Trump has been just rocking Biden left and right, and his ego, even in dementia stage, is so large that he can't sit back. That's the only thing that I can think of is they look at their polling and like, oh, Donald Trump, let's go after him. Danielle says, Vic, you're way too good with that impression. Yeah, roll them old bones out. They've been stealing over there. It's just sad. I mean, I just from the chat line, they will push the Social Security issue because they know it will scare uninformed voters against Trump. But Trump's team and administration has been doing a pretty good job, specifically with Elon, of showing how they're actually saving Social Security. And maybe you're right. I know there are a lot of uninformed voters. We're also pushing the rhinos out. Yes, we are. A lot of good things are happening right now in this country, and we're grateful that people are doing that. All things good. All things are positive. Just these are the things that are happening. Joe Biden. Yeah, okay. You're really one to talk about Social Security. I did get excited, though. Yesterday, Donald Trump had the president of El Salvador in the Oval Office, like Bukele, speaking at a public event. One of the issues they talked about was the border. And I love the fact that Donald Trump continues to call out the media, specifically CNN, for what their lies. Their ratings are still in the tank. But Donald Trump continues to bring truth to the American people. And I love it. Here's Donald Trump and the president of El Salvador talking about the border. The president of El Salvador is like, wow, what you guys have done here is absolutely amazing.
What they've done to us at the border should never and can never be forgotten. It's a sin what they did, and you are helping us out, and we appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, what, 95%? It's incredible.
As of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out with the fake news, like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They only like putting out because I think they hate our country, actually. What they've
hate our country. They actually hate our country. That is incredible when you think about what Donald Trump and his administration has been able to do at the border. There's so much going on. We don't want to forget about certain topics that need to be talked about. That's literally the president of El Salvador complimenting Donald Trump about how great things have been. 95 to 99% closed. God forbid keep paying people not born yet. Yeah, exactly. So the president of El Salvador giving Trump a lot. And credit this man for standing up and what El Salvador has done. El Salvador is probably the safest country in the world for what they have done. They took a serious freaking attitude towards crime. None of the woke bullshit. None of that, well, we care about their feelings. No, we care about people's safety. We care about the Constitution. We don't care about silly, woke, democratic beliefs that are getting this country nowhere. And you know what? It's working. He's doing a great job. And that's why he's working with Donald Trump. And thank God we can deport illegals, not innocents, illegals out of this country, working with El Salvador. And thank God, I hope Donald Trump is taking care of them in a way that nobody else has ever been taken care of. From the chat line, I'm telling you that Caitlyn chick, CNN reporter, is a dude. Might be. I don't care if it's a dude or woman, a he, she, whatever you want to call it. As long as they're doing their job and an adult and not a child, just do your job. But she, whatever you say it is not doing their job. They're not about really bringing truth out. They're about an agenda. That's what we have seen happen over at CNN. El Salvador's president was also talking with Donald Trump yesterday when it came to other situations, which we absolutely love to see. And that was what we're starting to see with women having to deal with men in their sports. Listen to what the president of El Salvador said. See, we see Democrats and we see the old Nazism Get people to think what they know is right is wrong, and what is right and what is wrong is right. Back and forth. Right is wrong is right. Confuse their brains. Get them talking about it, and then tell them that they're mean and bad. And you still see some of these things. There still are some instances in America where people are trying to force men on women in their sports and tell you that you're mean if you don't agree to their agendas and their warped ideology, which is a mental illness. Listen to this excerpt from yesterday.
Allow men to play in women's sports? Do you allow men to box your women and box? Because I know you have a lot of boxing.
That's violence.
That's abuse of a
violence
woman.
against women.
It's abuse of a woman.
Totally.
But we have people that fight to the death because they think men should be able to play in women's sports. And some of those sports, it wouldn't matter much, but it still matters. But some of them are very dangerous for women.
Some years ago, I would say a decade ago or so, women rights movements were pressuring so that we enacted specific laws to avoid men abusing women. And I think those laws were great because there were a lot of men abusing women. But now some of the same people are trying to backtrack on that and actually trying to make new laws allowing men to abuse women in sports. So actually that doesn't make sense.
In sports.
It doesn't make sense.
It's crazy. You know, they have weightlifting records, right?
Yeah.
A woman gets up, lifts weights, she's incredible. A guy gets up and beats her by 100 pounds. What are you going to do? A record that hadn't been broken in 18 years. You know, they put on an ounce, quarter of an ounce, eighth of an ounce for 18 years. Now they have a guy come up, ping. The whole thing is crazy. But they continue to fight. And I don't like talking about it because I want to save it for just before the next election. I said, my people, don't even talk about it because they'll change. And but I watched this morning. There was a congressman fighting to the death for men to play against women in sports. And you say to yourself, why? What are they doing, right? What are they doing? But your country's not too big in that.
No, of course not. We're big in protecting women.
We're good. Yeah. That's right. It's a very important form of protection, too.
And as you can see, most of my cabinet are women, so...
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's why you're
And
running.
they're not DEI hires or anything. They're
can
just
be
great at what they do. Right?
That's right. This is very impressive. This
Hell
is the
yeah, it's
first
impressive.
We've had...
Man, this is awesome. Daniel says, he said, ping. People, don't get, and I know most of our viewers and listeners don't get fooled by the hype, but these conversations that are happening, so transparent, are amazing. It's what America and it's what the world needs. But of course, we know the evildoers, the deep state, the hardcore Democrat liberals who've lost their mind and have the Trump derangement syndrome, Elon derangement syndrome, they'll never stop. From the chat line, women running the show, baby, in El Salvador. Yeah, you love it. Unfortunately, in America, some of the most liberal policyholders are educated, college, white women. We broke that down before. If you wonder, it's college women or women who graduated from college and are white. It's crazy because most of the college women I know that are graduated or white graduated college women that I know are Trump fans. I guess it just hangs where you're hanging out, but oh well, El Salvador's got it rocking and rolling, and all the cabinet is all women. I love it. Absolutely freaking love it. Because we know how damn smart women are. And that's not pandering. That's freaking legit. This is cancelthisshow.com. Glad you guys are with us. We're here till about 10 o'clock today. Like, subscribe, share the show. Let people know where they can watch and jump in on the chat line, Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube. We do what we can to get the truth out there. The facts, not fiction. The facts, not feelings. Facts first, and then that's where we start our relationships with everybody else. Donald Trump had a warning for Zelensky yesterday. We haven't talked about Zelensky, but of course we try to be proactive on the show. We try to get out in front of things too and let people know what's going on, not just chase the ball around. But they're still trying to organize and coordinate peace in Russia and Ukraine. And Trump was upset with Russia last week, but it appears he's got Russia back on track. But here's a message for Zelensky. And this is so freaking important, as we've talked about before. Listen to his message for Zelensky yesterday.
But that's a war that should have never been allowed to start. And Biden could have stopped it, and Zelensky could have stopped it, and Putin should have never started it. Everybody's to blame.
Have you spoken to President Zelensky, sir, about his offer to purchase more Patriot missile batteries?
Oh, I don't know. He's always looking to purchase missiles, you know. He's against, listen, when you start a war, you got to know that you can win the war, right? You don't start a war against somebody that's 20 times your size and then hope that people give you some missiles. But that's a war that should have never been allowed to.
Yeah, it's a war that should have never been allowed to start. 100%. Yeah, Zelensky was in 60 Minutes. Once again, 60 Minutes is not the 60 Minutes when it first began. It is a liberal mouthpiece. The journalists on there are not true journalists. If you actually watch a show and break down the questioning that they give, that they ask, and who they don't talk to, and what they don't give the right to, you'll quickly see that they are not. And I repeat, they are not true journalists. Why can I say this? Because I was in the business, and I'm still in the business for over 27 years. They're not trying to get truth out. They have their agenda, and they had an agenda with Zelensky on Sunday night as well. Zelensky is the little guy, the little yappy dog that goes and barks at people. Then when the people come at it, it runs behind the bigger dogs and hopes that the bigger dogs stick up for it. We've all had one of those friends in our group, haven't we? I did, unfortunately. So many times in life, I've heard people yap and yell and oh, Vic, protect me. I'm like, dude, you started it. I'm not getting into that. I don't want to drop somebody. I don't have to go do that. I want to get dropped myself, you know? Forget that. That's Zelensky. That's what's happening right now. And it is interesting, as Paul says, Zelensky is FAFO territory. Better be careful. Yesterday, we also had Steve Witkoff, President Trump's special envoy to Russia when it comes to this war, giving an update on where Russia stands right now. And it appears as if Russia really is ready for peace. What does that mean? I don't know. But I do know this. It's not just America who are starting to not give weapons to Ukraine. Others around the world are trying to take the lead that Donald Trump has given as well. Here's this interview with Steve Witkoff on Hannity.
Do you really see a deal emerging? Are you confident?
I think you used a very good word there, Sean, emerging. I do. This is the third meeting I've had with him. This last meeting lasted close to 5 hours. We had two of his key advisors in the room at the time, Ushakov and Kirill Dmitriev. And it was a compelling meeting. And towards the end, we actually came up with, and I'm going to say finally, but I don't mean it in the way that we were waiting. I mean it in the way that it took a while for us to get to this place. What Putin's request is to have a permanent peace here. So beyond a ceasefire, we got an answer to that.
Do you really see a deal?
Yeah. Let's see where it goes. I don't think Steve Witkoff would be out saying that, putting his own reputation on the line, his own work, if something wasn't nearing. Of course, it takes two to get something like this done, Ukraine and Russia. But I still have no idea where this is going. And I still feel as if stronger sanctions of somehow have to take place from the Trump administration. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but we're going to see where it all goes. And we're going to see very quickly because these things have to be taken care of. It's another one of these world issues that was left for Donald Trump. As Donald Trump said, remember, the Biden administration should have never allowed this to start. Putin should have never started it. And Zelensky shouldn't have done what he did when it came to the whole situation of continuing this and making it go forward. I hope and pray. Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed from the chat line from that standpoint. The Trump administration also dealing with some issues at home. Lower level judges still trying to stop the deportation of illegals and illegal gang members and illegals committing crimes in America. I found this interesting from Stephen Miller, who's also done a terrific job with the Trump administration. Love this guy. Brutally honest, incredibly intelligent, and very well spoken. An ability to put things in perspective like Vivek Ramaswamy could when it comes to complex topics. making them so damn easy to understand. This speaking about the deportation of an El Salvador man who the media is now trying to make a martyr, a hero, because they say he was deported illegally. El Salvador says they won't send him back. But Stephen Miller really breaking this down and putting some things into perspective.
Would you answer that question also, please?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge.
Would you answer that question?
Doesn't that put things into perspective? The dude is a member of M13. He's an El Salvador native. We send him back there. He needs to stay here. Democrats, once again, in another episode, have lost their mind. Stephen Miller, brutally honest, incredibly smart. Kevin says he is great. Love Miller coming from the chat line. And he is a perfect Trump member. Just puts the... How Democrats can argue for this, yet all we hear from the American public is, we support Donald Trump and his deportation. We support him. It's all about trying to make him a bad guy. And all he does is stick up for Jews, for Christians, Muslims, Asians, Latinos in this country who are here legally, not illegally, legally. And those who are trying to move America forward, not those who are trying to go after other races. From the chat line, literally 4 people answered that question, and she still wanted the El Salvador guy to answer. Listen, it's CNN. I've sat in so many of those reporter sessions at the highest levels down to the lowest levels. It doesn't take long to see when a reporter has an agenda, when they want the story to be about them or their liberal ideology and not what the actual story is. Saw it far too often. But the Trump administration is not going to let it happen. And then also Scott Jennings, who has become super popular by putting Democrats in their place on CNN. Love this guy. Broke it down last night too. But just listen. This is so important. The Democratic ideology of sticking up for a man who's here illegally from El Salvador, being sent back to El Salvador. They're upset. And he's a member of M13. And the Democrats wonder why their party is a complete shit show. This is a reason why. Thank you, Ken Jennings, for destroying Democrats on a daily basis.
It's predicated on something that is not necessarily.
They believe every time the Trump administration, every official of the Trump administration that has been in court on this case has attested to the fact that this was an error and it was a mistake. Look, so this, I think you're speaking about their public view of the case.
I'm telling you that their view of it is that
public.
It's an El Salvador citizen who was sent back to El Salvador, who was in the country illegally, who, according to some people in his long process, which does include an existing deportation order, believes that he has an affiliation with MS-13. As I said, there's no version of this man's life where he comes back. And let me say one more thing. The people that want him brought back need to understand something. If the president of El Salvador releases him, and we do facilitate his return, when he lands in this country, one of 2 things will happen. He will be arrested, and then he'll either be sent back to El Salvador, where he is now, or some other country that I promise you don't want to go to. He's not going to be allowed to come back and live in this country as though he is a U.S. citizen.
That's literally the definition of tyranny, right? So here's what's going to happen. We're going to throw him in jail. No, there's a thing called the rule of law and due process, which has not been followed in this case. And if I have a slightly optimistic take on this, I actually think this is going to come back to bite the Trump administration, because what's going to happen is the next time this goes up the court system, they have absolutely zero credibility to say, don't worry, you can file a habeas petition, you can get your person back. The courts are not going to allow this to to happen. And the idea that the Trump administration has the right of fiat to just decide to ship somebody off to another country, that is fundamentally opposed to everything a constitutional democracy
They have
stands for.
they have the ability to deport people who have deportation
With
orders. Do they
process.
not?
Why didn't they
He
make
got
that
due process.
argument?
He has a deportation order.
But then why didn't they make that argument?
Withholding of his removal order, so he was in the country
Why?
temporarily.
Why did he have a withholding?
Because an immigration judge ruled that.
But why? What was
And
the argument?
because
he was fearful of a gang
Wait,
that hasn't existed in El
yes,
Salvador for 4
because he
years.
was
There's more of
fearful
that gang in
of a
Los
gang.
Angeles than there is in El Salvador.
That's not for us to decide. That's the immigration judge decides that.
Can I just tell?
Thank you, Mr. Scott Jennings. I mean, he just destroys Democrats on the daily. And they continue to put him on there. I know that they're hoping somehow, some way they can get some ratings, sell some advertising, and make some money. But it's like the lamb being led to the slaughter every night when they lead the Democrat to the desk to talk politics with Scott Jennings. Any one of us could go on that show and do the same damn thing as Scott is. And he looks around at people like, are you guys serious? Like, are you really trying to stick up for illegals? Illegal gang members?
I need to bring back the bullshit button.
Yeah, bullshit. The left living with blinders constantly on, from the chat line. The libs are literally ID 10T, whatever. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Idiots.
Oh, I gotcha. I was looking at that. I gotcha. Well, just say it. Idiots. So be grateful. We show you those things just to show what's happening. Be grateful. Be grateful that you're a conservative. Be grateful that God has given us Donald Trump and this administration to clean up the country right now. And of course, we got people who are willing to do it because it's not that difficult when you have facts on your side, policy on your side, and truth on your side, especially when the left continues to tell us that illegal gang members in this country deserve to stay here and not be sent back to their country. It's not the American people. It's these mouthpieces who are being paid and some politicians. Glenn says, let's pray CNN doesn't go out of business. Yeah. No, bring them back straight to one of their homes. Yeah, take them back to that guy's house. That's some of the best answers ever. Okay, you want them back here? Sure. We'll have them go stay at your house. Sleep in your wife's bedroom. There you go. Use your bathroom, eat your food, and hang out with your kids. There you go, Mr. Democrat. There you go, Mr. Harvard college professor, Alan Garber, a Jewish man who refuses to stick up for the Jewish students. Okay, there we go. We love it. This is cancelthisshow.com. Pam Bondi continues to kick butt. A lot of these people who are going after Teslas and have gone after Teslas now facing their fates. Pam Bondi with an update on another one of these just whack job people. We'll call him or her a person because of what they have done. And it's just good to see an administration holding people accountable.
Now, I think someone might be visiting one of those prisons. It looks like you got one of these guys, a Tesla terrorist, and he's got some lipstick. What's that?
You know, Jesse, this guy is charged with committing the Tesla offense in New Mexico in February and then the GOP headquarters in March. These people thought they could get away with it. They can't. This is our fifth major arrest on Tesla. I guess they are listening. They better listen. This guy is looking at 40 years in prison. I have directed my prosecutors not to make any offers. He is going away, if convicted, for 40 years. He is the fifth major arrest we've made, and stay tuned for more.
What shade of lipstick is he wearing?
It looks like a deep purple. The shade this season, though, is lavender, so he's a few shades darker.
They finally caught Gargamel.
I just love this. People enjoy every second of this. Truth, transparency, honesty, common sense is back in America, and every single day. Kevin says, by the way, if the Democrats love these gang members so much, then they should sponsor them and atone for their crimes as well. Exactly. I agree. And that person that they just showed, I agree with Jeannie. Yikes. What the hell was that? What the hell was that about? We are America, baby. We don't need that stuff anymore. From the chat, what's wrong with his mouth? I just, oh my God.
Too many conjugal visits with Smurfs.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
I just feel bad for Azrael.
Oh, man.
He doesn't have anybody to look out for him anymore. Gargamel's in jail.
I miss the Smurfs. I did like the Smurfs. Back when we had honest and pure cartoons. Oh, my God. Chat line says Pro Joe's on point with the Gargamel reference. And then, of course, bringing in the blue lips. Okay. Very nice, Joe. Well played. Well done. You guys want your income tax to disappear? Hell yes, we do. Is it possible? Maybe. Word is, and Donald Trump has put this out there as well. Yeah, they're still going, oh my God, Joe. People all over your reference and your comments, all of that. A couple updates. I want to get this out there too before we get into the story. I'd like to get the headlines. Ron DeSantis officially signed into law the designation of the Gulf of America in Florida. So that is official in the state of Florida. Thank you so much, Ron. I like Ron. I've told you that before. I like him a lot. I don't know what's going to happen with his political future with Representative Donalds running for governor. And we'll see. Maybe DeSantis is planning on running for president. Who knows? We'll have to see where all of that goes. But Glenn says, by the way, from the chat line, that's great, Pam, but what about prosecuting some Epstein culprits? I could not agree anymore. And that's something we call out on the show. Where are the Epstein files? What's happening there? It's fair. And we're real and we're true here, so we're not going to forget about that. Thanks for the reminder, Glenn. We still wait. We continue to see what's going to happen with that whole situation. Okay. Here we go. Representative Donalds. He's running for Florida governor. It's a very low-hanging fruit subject, isn't it? I'm going to end income tax. Yeah. Are you, though? Are you state income tax? He wants to do it around the country. It would be great. Word is now coming out that the efforts of DOJ and all the wasteful abuse and fraud that we had seen spending could actually do away with income tax and use that money that we had been spending and giving it back to the people. Love the idea. Is it possible? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But here's Representative Donalds speaking about getting rid of state income tax in Florida.
For those who've studied American history, especially constitutional history, you know that Woodrow Wilson's design was to turn the federal government, which at the time was quite frankly mechanical in nature, into an amoeba that would grow and amass power and frankly bring directives to the people, regardless of elections and regardless of the will of the people. I would love to repeal 16. And so if you're going to repeal the 16th Amendment, we have to start flipping other states to be more like Florida. People need to understand that their right to their own incomes, is fundamental before you get to anything else. I think there's a way we could get that done. We need more citizens to realize that actually retaining their own wealth matters more than anything else.
Okay. What do you think? Like? Not like? By the way, the mic, that wasn't us.
Yeah, that was definitely the acoustics in the room.
That was the acoustics in the room.
I think it sounds great.
I love it. I would love to see it happen. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice? Talking about the 16th Amendment. Would it be abolished? Would it happen? Robert says the 17th Amendment should be done away with as well. The 17th Amendment, by the way, provided to the direct election of U.S. senators by the voters of the states. What does the 17th Amendment state? It states that the United States Senate should be made up of 2 senators from each state, by the way. Just reminding you of where we are from that standpoint. Okay. So we'll see what's going on with this. I don't know. No state income tax is being discussed in Missouri. Yes, but it's been discussed for a little bit. And then, of course, we had personal property taxes. We know that was brought up by Bill Eigel, who surprisingly did well in the last gubernatorial election, finishing second. Not all that far off from Governor Mike Keogh. And of course, we think that Bill Eigel will come back at some point in time and run again. So I don't know. Is it possible? I guess it's possible. Do I have any idea how it's going to work? No, I don't. I'm just grateful that we're trying to get things done in America, and things are going damn well right now. Also, so I just want to continue to remind you to speak the truth. Make sure people understand what you're doing. The facts are there. Do your own research for research's sake, just so that you know what's happening. There are people who are trying to spread lies, and, you know, conservatives have proof on our side. And illegal immigrants, you're not a bad person if you want them deported, and more people want them deported than to stay here. It's just a fact. Okay. Legal one. I know it gets messy where there are illegals who are here who are working and productive members of society. If so, then do it the right way. Then do it the right way. Just go do it the right way. If you're here and you've got nothing to worry about. Speaking of which, Governor Newsom in California, who's all wants to be cool guy with his podcast now and get people to vote for him and have people forget that he was the cause of the horrible fires that happened in LA because he didn't have water where it should have been to fight a fire, had to sign a $2.8 billion bailout for the healthcare program, which has been overrun by illegal immigrants in California. They, quote, underestimated the cost of healthcare programs to include illegal immigrants. I'm telling you, California has some massive issues, massive problems, crazy. So he signed a $2.8 billion bailout yesterday to close the state's deficit in California's Medicaid program. Yeah. So the move comes after Democratic governor said that the lawmakers last month asked for a $3.4 billion loan from the state's general fund to cover some $6.2 billion in outstanding cost for Medi-Cal, one of the state's primary healthcare programs that takes both federal and state taxpayers' dollars. The additional funds will help keep the program running through June for 15 million Californians. It's a crazy deal what California is dealing with. We've got our issues in Missouri, but thank God we don't have what they have going on in California. It's bad. It's not going to get any better. And my God, look out. We will see how bad things get in California. But we see how fast things can turn around when you actually put in positive stories. Okay, before we get out of here today, I wanted to do this. It was from Charlie Kirk, and we promised you we'll always give you updates when it comes to what happened with COVID, the vaccine, and the shots. We just don't let that go away because we don't want anything like that to ever happen again. Dr. Mary Bowden, if you don't know her, check her out. She has been brilliant covering what's actually happened. She says, according to the VAERS report, which we have talked about so many times, which does updates and stats on COVID and the vaccine, there have been 38,000 deaths from the COVID shots. I don't like to bring that news forward because I know many people were forced to take the shot. But we can't forget what happened. And so many people trying to make other people feel guilty and that we were wrong and we hated people, when actuality, it was them who were the problem in the first place. Here's Mary Bowden speaking on the show.
According to VAERS, there have been 38,000 deaths from these COVID shots. So under normal circumstances, the FDA would have pulled it. But instead, they've doubled down. They've put the shots on the childhood vaccine schedule. All babies are expected to get 3 COVID shots by the time they're 9 months old. The shots are still under EUA status for this age group. So under 12, they're not even fully approved by the FDA, and yet they're on the vaccine schedule. And according to the CDC, 9 million American children have gotten the latest version of these COVID shots.
Actually?
Yes. Yes.
Still?
Yes. 9 million. 12%.
Wait, this is going on right now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Makes me sick. to hear her say that to Tucker. But, let's just make sure this stuff doesn't happen again. I'd like to, we won't be fooled again, but I hope that is the case. And I hope that we're not fooled again. Robert says to me, it's murder. Yeah, think about that. It's certainly a point.
I can't believe they're still giving it out.
And promoting it.
Yeah,
I mean, go down,
like it's safe.
drive by Walgreens, at least it was in the Chesterfield Valley where we broadcast live. Get your get your vaccination shot. And I'm like, what? What?
Well, the flu shots are now mRNA as well.
Yeah. I know. I agree. Glenn says, wow. And people are still running to get them. Yeah, I know. But sometimes pride is a big thing and ignorance. And if somebody's prideful and ignorant, then, oh my God, look out. Glenn says children are almost 0% at risk. Okay. Tanya says horrible. These are just the things that frustrate us when we look at what's going on in this world, in this life. There's really no need for it. And we're just trying to bring the truth to you to make sure that you make the best decisions possible for whatever you have going on in your life. It's just, there's no need for it. No need for it anywhere. With that being said, we appreciate you guys joining us today. Yeah. Oh, surprised that RFK Jr. hasn't stopped that yet. Hopefully he's working on it right now. Yeah, hopefully he is. And sometimes the Trump administration's catching up to a lot of the things as well. All right. We appreciate Wendy's advertising with us in the Chesterfield Valley. Work hard, play hard, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Go check out some of the wonderful bar food they have. It is absolutely amazing and the good time. Speaking of food, Capriati's, some of the best sandwiches you're going to find anywhere. I talk about the Philly cheesesteak. The Bobby is also amazing. I had the tuna fish on Friday for Lent, and I'm not somebody who would just normally go buy a tuna fish sandwich. I'm not. But I bought theirs on Friday, and it was absolutely amazing. Blew my mind. And by the way, those fries that I talk about, love those. And I should have brought this up before, but the fries are skinny. They're skinny fries. They're skinny flat fries.
So are they like Steak and Shake?
No.
No.
They're flat. These are wide and flat fries. Like imagine a potato being cut and you have, it's like rectangular. It's a rectangular fry. That's, imagine a steak
so it's
fry.
kind of like an actual
Imagine a
shoestring.
steak fry pressed down.
Right.
And fried, where it's flat, wide, crispy.
Like how wide are we talking? Are we talking chip wide
maybe an inch and a half?
Okay, so it's almost like a chip instead.
Kind of, but but thicker.
Okay.
Like a steak fry.
Right.
Absolutely amazing what they have at Capriati's.
Sounds great.
The catering is second to none. Check them out. Let Jonathan know you appreciate him advertising on Cancel This. Also, when it comes to Jonathan Heslop, he's got Rockwood Charcoal, the best charcoal in America. Literally, you can buy it anywhere in the St. Louis metropolitan area. And if you're not in the area, you can purchase it at Ace Hardware. It's natural, made where the best charcoal in the world is made, in the state of Missouri, the southern part of Missouri. It is incredible. You don't want fillers in your charcoal, which is what a lot of brands offer, fillers. And of course, that burns on your food. Stay healthy. Don't do that. And you need to get your real estate plan together. Give Megan Livingstone a call. She is actually super busy, and this is a good thing. It's a very good thing. Calls are coming in to their office all the time. People are buying, people are selling. It is so much more positive than it was last year. And especially if those market rates hit in March or in May, look out. Things could get really busy. Get your plan in place. You don't have any issues by calling. You're not locked in by calling, but get your plan in place. Call Megan 314-249-1708, 314-249-1708, or you can email Megan at experience-re.com, Megan at experience-re.com. Guys, we appreciate you jumping in with us today. Thank you so much. For Projo, I'm Vic Faust. We'll be back on Thursday at 9 a.m. Have an amazing day, and we will talk to you later.